Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. What do you do when the woman you love carries a past that hurts her present? When her history, whether it's trauma, past relationships, mistakes, or painful experiences, casts a shadow over your marriage today? Most men handle this in one of two destructive ways. Some try to play the hero, attempting to rescue and fix her, which often leads to exhaustion and resentment. Others let jealousy, insecurity, or judgment poison the relationship, creating distance where there should be intimacy. But there's a third way, a way rooted in ancient wisdom that has helped men navigate far greater challenges than this. A way that requires real strength, not the Hollywood version, but the kind of strength that builds marriages instead of breaking them. Today, we're exploring the Stoic approach to handling your wife's painful past, not by ignoring it, not by letting it control you, but by responding to it with the kind of intelligence and emotional maturity that transforms both of you. This isn't just philosophy, this is practical wisdom that can save your marriage and make you a better man in the process. So let's dive in. Understanding the real problem. Before we talk about solutions, we need to understand what we're actually dealing with. When your wife's past hurts her present, it manifests in different ways. Maybe she struggles with trust because of betrayal. Maybe she carries shame from past mistakes. Maybe trauma affects her ability to be fully present in intimacy. Maybe comparison with her past relationships creates insecurity in you. Here's the first Stoic principle we need to grasp. You cannot change what has already happened. The past is completely outside your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Her past exists. It happened. You can deny it, resent it, or obsess over it, but none of that changes the fundamental reality. The only thing within your control is how you respond to it right now. Most men waste enormous emotional energy fighting a battle they cannot win, trying to change or erase what has already occurred. This is the fast track to misery. The Stoic approach begins with radical acceptance of what is. The dichotomy of control, your first tool. Epictetus taught the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. What happened to your wife before you met her? Not up to you. How she was treated by others? Not up to you. The choices she made years ago? Not up to you. What is up to you? Your thoughts about her past, your judgments, your emotional reactions, the meaning you assign to her history, the way you treat her today. These are your domain. When you truly internalize this distinction, something profound happens. You stop wasting energy on what you cannot control and focus all your power on what you can control, your character, your responses, your choices. Here's a practical application. When intrusive thoughts about her past arise, and they will, recognize them for what they are. Don't fight them. Don't indulge them. Simply acknowledge, this is a thought about something I cannot control. Then redirect your attention to what you can control in this moment. The virtue of justice, seeing her completely. The Stoics identified 4 cardinal virtues, and the first we need to apply here is justice. Justice doesn't mean fairness in the transactional sense. It means seeing things accurately, treating people according to their nature, and giving each person their due. Here's where most men fail. They reduce their wife to her past. They see her through the lens of what happened to her or what she did, rather than seeing her as a complete human being who exists right now. Stoic justice demands that you see her clearly. Yes, she has a past, but she also has a present. She has virtues. She has struggled and grown. She chose you. She's building a life with you. To fixate only on her history while ignoring her present reality is a profound injustice. Ask yourself, are you seeing your wife as she actually is, or are you seeing a distorted image filtered through your own insecurities and judgments? The just response is to acknowledge the whole person, past included, but not past alone. The virtue of wisdom. Understanding reality as it truly is. If your wife's past involves trauma, you need to understand what trauma actually does to a person. This isn't about being soft, this is about being intelligent. Trauma rewires the brain. It affects how a person experiences safety, intimacy, and trust. This isn't weakness or brokenness, it's a natural human response to overwhelming experiences. The wise man educates himself about these realities, rather than judging what he doesn't understand. But here's where Stoic wisdom goes deeper. The Stoics believed that adversity could be transformed into growth. What happened to your wife may have been terrible, but it doesn't have to define her forever. In fact, her journey through that pain may have developed strength and depth in her that wouldn't exist otherwise. Your role isn't to fix her or pity her. Your role is to create an environment where her growth can continue. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Your wife's difficult past may have strengthened her in ways you haven't yet recognized. The wise approach asks, what can we learn from this? How can we grow together? How can this difficult history become part of our shared strength rather than our shared weakness? The virtue of courage, facing discomfort. Let's be honest about what this requires. Courage, real courage. Not the absence of fear or discomfort, but action despite it. It takes courage to not know all the details and be okay with that. It takes courage to resist the compulsion to compare yourself to her past. It takes courage to stay present when her trauma responses are triggered and she's not her usual self. It takes courage to be patient with healing that doesn't follow your timeline. The Stoics didn't define courage as fearlessness. They defined it as doing what's right despite fear. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, and betrayal, yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." He chose his response courageously again and again. Your courage shows up in the small moments. When jealousy whispers in your ear, courage chooses trust instead. When impatience says, "She should be over this by now," courage chooses compassion. When insecurity tempts you to bring up her past in an argument, courage keeps your mouth shut. The virtue of temperance, self-control, moderation, and emotional discipline. This is perhaps the most practical Stoic virtue for this situation. Your wife's past might trigger powerful emotions in you: jealousy, anger, inadequacy, resentment, anxiety. These feelings are natural. The Stoic approach isn't to suppress them or pretend they don't exist, it's to not be controlled by them. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your wife has a past. That's what happened. Your reaction is the only thing that determines whether this becomes a source of growth or destruction in your marriage. Practical temperance looks like this. When you feel jealous about her past relationships, you don't immediately speak or act from that jealousy. You pause. You examine the feeling. You ask, is this jealousy serving me or my marriage? Usually, the answer is no. Then, you choose a response aligned with your values rather than your emotions. This doesn't mean becoming emotionally cold or distant. It means becoming the master of your emotions rather than their slave. It means creating space between stimulus and response so you can choose wisdom over reactivity. The practice of negative visualization. Here's a powerful Stoic exercise called negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum. The Stoics would regularly imagine losing what they valued most, not to be morbid, but to cultivate gratitude and perspective. Apply this to your situation. Imagine your wife wasn't in your life at all. Imagine you never met her. Imagine the emptiness of that reality. Now, come back to the present. She's here. She chose you. Despite her painful past, she's building a life with you. Does her past suddenly seem less important when weighed against the gratitude of her presence? This isn't about minimizing real issues, but about maintaining perspective. The past cannot hurt you unless you give it power over your present. Creating a healing environment. Now let's talk about what you can actively do. Remember, you can't control her healing process, but you can control the environment you create. First, be a safe space. This means predictability, honesty, and non-judgment. When she shares painful memories, your response matters enormously. Don't react with shock, anger, or judgment. Listen, acknowledge, be present. Your steady presence becomes her safe harbor. Second, respect her boundaries. If there are parts of her past she's not ready to share, that's her right. Your curiosity doesn't override her need for privacy and control. Trust is built when you demonstrate that you respect her autonomy. Third, focus on the present and future. Yes, acknowledge the past when necessary, but don't make it the center of your relationship. Build new memories. Create new experiences. Show her through your actions that you're invested in who she's becoming, not fixated on who she was. Fourth, work on yourself. The strongest thing you can do for your wife's healing is to become a better man yourself. Develop your own emotional intelligence. Manage your own insecurities. Build your own resilience. A strong oak tree provides shelter. Be that oak. When professional help is needed. Stoic wisdom includes knowing your limitations. If your wife's past includes serious trauma, professional help may be necessary. Encouraging therapy isn't admitting defeat, it's being wise enough to seek expertise beyond your own. Your role is partner, not therapist. You can be supportive, but you cannot and should not try to be her professional healer. Recognize this boundary with humility. The daily practice. Stoicism isn't just philosophy, it's practice. Here's how to apply this daily. Morning reflection. Before the day begins, remind yourself what's in your control. Today, I control my responses, my character, my choices. I do not control her past or her healing timeline. Mindful presence. Throughout the day, when thoughts of her past arise, practice the pause. Acknowledge the thought without judgment, then return to the present moment. Evening review. Before sleep, review your day. Did you respond with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance? Where did you succeed? Where can you improve? This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. The transformation. Here's what happens when you apply Stoic principles to this challenge. You transform from a man controlled by circumstances into a man who controls himself. You move from reactive to responsive, from threatened to secure, from judgmental to compassionate. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop trying to control her past or her healing, when you focus entirely on being the best version of yourself, you create the exact conditions where real healing and deep intimacy become possible. Your wife doesn't need you to erase her past. She needs you to be present in her present. She needs you to be strong enough to hold space for her complexity. She needs you to demonstrate through your actions that her worth isn't determined by her history. The Stoic approach to your wife's painful past isn't about being emotionless or detached. It's about being so emotionally intelligent and self-controlled that you become a source of stability rather than additional chaos. It's about recognizing that her past is part of her story, but it doesn't have to be the whole story. It's about understanding that real strength isn't found in judgment or control, but in acceptance and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your wife's painful past could be the very thing that destroys your marriage, or it could be the challenge that forges both of you into stronger, wiser, more compassionate people. The choice is yours. Not the choice of whether her past exists, that's already determined, but the choice of how you respond to it. Will you respond with wisdom or foolishness? With courage or fear? With justice or judgment? With temperance or reactivity? The Stoic path is clear. Focus on what you can control. Develop your character. Practice the virtues daily. Create an environment of safety and growth. And trust that by becoming a better man yourself, you give your marriage the best possible chance to thrive. Your wife's past is unchangeable, but your future together, that's still being written, and you hold the pen for your part of the story. Write it wisely.